Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. IRS.gov, the 24/7 summertime spot for tax help. IR 2021-147, July 9, 2021, Washington. The IRS website provides millions of visitors with the answers they need to fit their busy summer schedules. On IRS.gov, waiting for service is not a problem and no appointment is needed to use the online tools. So like with many businesses, the IRS is trying to get the automated things up and working, such as the IRS website, and is putting more of the resources on the IRS website, trying to train us to use those online resources as opposed to, for example, calling them, where they are having some troubles, as are other businesses, especially with the coronavirus-related activities, to get back to everybody's need basically by phone. You'll note here that they emphasize the fact that waiting times are not a problem and you don't need an appointment, whereas if you call them, you might have those things that will be involved. So hopefully more of the information will be available on the IRS website. You can meet more of your needs by using it. So many taxpayers who request an extension to October 15th or missed the May 17th deadline can still prepare and e-file tax returns for free with the IRS Free File. So the tax returns for 2020, you'll recall they were extended. And then if you filed an extension, we're back to the normal due date of October 15th. If you do not have tax software and your income is below a certain threshold, you may qualify for the Free File software, where you have a link to that here, or you could type into the IRS website, IRS.gov, Free File, which will then take you to a link to other third-party software that you can hopefully use for free. So here are some great reasons taxpayers to add the IRS.gov to their internet favorites list this summer. So, and really you don't even need to add it to your favorites list because IRS.gov is so easy to type. It's just IRS.gov that you can type even on a phone. I would suspect that that's not too difficult to type in there. Easy to remember and so on. So tax information when it's needed. IRS.gov is always there. Taxpayers can view, download, or print tax products right away. They can also do the following. Use the File tab. There's a link to the File tab on the home page for most federal income tax needs. Access the interactive tax assistance tool. There's a link to that here that can answer many tax law questions. See their tax account with the View Your Account tool online. So this has been something that they've been trying to advance and put more stuff in your kind of account. There's been questions about security and whatnot, but obviously we have online banking and these types of things online, so you would think that we would have secure information and could then use the online IRS tool if we can use online banking and so on. So it might be worthwhile to set up your online account there as well. With this, they can find information such as the payoff amount, the balance for each tax year owed, up to 24 months of their payment history, and key information from their current tax year return as originally filed. Use the Get Transcript tool to view, print, or download their tax transcripts after the IRS has processed the return. There's a link to that here. So once your information is in the IRS system, they can provide you with the transcript fairly easily, and you can kind of request the transcript online. Find the most up-to-date information about tax refunds using the Where's My Refund tool. So you can check out the Where's My Refund tool. There's a link to that here. It's on IRS.gov and on the official IRS mobile app, IRS.gov. I don't currently have the mobile app not because it's not good, but I don't usually use a lot of mobile apps. But they got the mobile app, so you should check that out if you're into the apps. IRS.gov, there's a link to that here. Taxpayers can start checking on the status of their refund 24 hours after the IRS acknowledges receipt of an e-filed return. Find answers to most languages other than English. Find answers in more languages than ever. Many pages on IRS.gov are now available in Spanish, Vietnamese, Russian, Korean, Haitian, Creole, and Chinese, simplified traditional. Earlier this year, the agency posted a Spanish language version of the 1040, so you can do the 1040 in Spanish as well as the related instructions in Spanish. Help for people who use assistive technology. At the Online Alternative Media Center, the AMC, there's a link to that here. Taxpayers will find a variety of accessible products. There's a link to those products like screen reading software, refreshable braille displays, and screen magnifying software. These products include tax forms, instructions, and publications that can be downloaded or viewed online as Section 508 compliant PDF, HTML, e-braille, text, and large print. Please note that every product is not available in all formats. For example, tax forms are not available in HTML format. To request paper copies of tax forms, instructions, or publications in Braille or large print, you can call tax form telephone number at 800-829-3676. There'll be a link to this in the description, so if you want to look that up there, you can go to the link and find this number here. Or if a taxpayer prefers to receive correspondence such as letters or notices from the IRS in alternative format, they can call 800-829-1040. Keep current with IRS tax tip. Summer activities like home buying or working a part-time job often affect taxes. Additionally, while many summertime and part-time workers may not earn enough to owe federal income tax, they should remember to file a return to get a refund for taxes withheld early next year. So note, even if you're below the threshold, you just do some summertime work and you're saying, I don't need to file a tax return, I just worked a little bit, but they probably withheld something from your wages. And if you file, you can get that as a refund, even if you're not required to file. And you might still qualify for these other credits that are being pumped up now, which are the child tax credit, the earned income tax credit, and the economic impact payments, the recovery rebate credits, and whatnot, if you haven't received those. So subscribe to the IRS Tips. There's a link to that here to get easy-to-read articles and email from the IRS that not only cover summer topics, but also those topics which are good to know throughout the entire year. Tax tips are brief, to the point, and cover a wide range of subjects like common errors to avoid when you prepare your tax return and the latest guidance on current tax deductions and credits. Partner and promotional materials for coronavirus tax relief. Discover ready-to-use articles, e-posters, videos, and much more on IRS.gov about economic impact payments, the recovery rebate credit, and the advanced child tax credit. There's links to those items here. The IRS has placed a special emphasis on partnering with organizations that work with groups focused on veterans, homeless, and low-income employers, as well as non-English speaking audiences to share information. In all, the IRS has worked with thousands of partners across the country, reaching organizations representing hundreds of millions of taxpayers. The IRS asks community groups, nonprofits, associations, education organizations, and anyone else with connections to people with children to share the critical information about the advanced child tax credits as well as other important benefits. Adjust withholding not to avoid tax surprises next year. Summer is a great time for taxpayers to check their withholding and avoid a tax surprise next filing season. Life events like marriage, divorce, having a child, or a change in income can all affect taxes. The IRS Tax Withholding Estimator on IRS.gov helps employees assess their income tax credits, adjustments, and deductions and determine whether they need to change their withholding by submitting a new Form W-4 Employees Withholding Allowance Certificate. There's a link to that W-4 here. So note that if you have these big life changes that are going to impact the taxes like marriage, a new home, and whatnot, that's one reason that you're going to want to rethink your withholdings. Also, everyone almost needs to rethink their withholdings these days, given the fact that your 2021 income may be very different than it was in 2020, may be very different than it was in 2019. Therefore, you can't really rely on your prior year income oftentimes in these days to estimate what's going to happen in the future. And the only really way to get a clear estimate might be to use some kind of projection software, which the tax withholding estimator basically is. Also, people are going to have changes with regards to the tax law, meaning the tax law is actually changing way more than it usually does as well, especially with regards to refundable credits like child tax credits, earned income tax credits. Therefore, that's another reason that you can't really just depend on prior year information. The code is getting more complicated and it's changing a lot, and people's incomes are changing a lot, even if they don't have some of these big life-altering changes. Therefore, you're going to have to check more on your withholdings from a year-to-year basis to be up to date. So taxpayers should remember that if needed, they should submit their new W-4 to their employer, not the IRS. So the W-4 doesn't go to the IRS, that goes to the employer. The employer is basically the one that's acting as the agent of the IRS forcing the employer to collect your taxes for you give them to the IRS, they do that with the information on Form W-4.